The Think Small podcast presents The Offshore Diaries, where business growth has no borders.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of The Offshore Diaries. Today I have a very special guest with me. She's actually our first VA interviewee. So I have with me Junazel Paro, and we can do this interview in Taglish, in Tagalog, no? I'm just so used to speaking English with Paolo. So, welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for being here today. So, to start, can you tell us a bit about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, hi. Thank you so much for having me, Melissa. My name is Junsal, and I am now one of the operations manager in one of the BA agency here in the Philippines.
Okay, operations manager. So, how did you end up working in the VA industry? How did you get to where you are?
I actually started in a BPO industry. I've been like working as an operations manager for 12 years as well in a BPO setting. And then pandemic comes and I got pregnant. So I need to be a full-time work from home employee. That's where I started my VA journey. I actually started as cold caller.
Okay.
So it's like a very basic or entry level of BA. So I started and then worked my way up with the help of other people around me.
I'm sure we had a little chat prior to this podcast call, so you got to share some of your experiences. So let's delve into like your background with the BPO industry before. So when did you start working sa BPO and how was the experience like?
Actually, first job ko was sa fast food.
Okay.
So I started as a cashier sa fast food industry, and then my cousin asked me to accompany her to her interview in Chendesitas, Pasig sa BPO industry. Back then, ang mga BPO hindi pa talaga tumatanggap ng mga high school graduate. Talagang kailangan college level. So,
okay.
ang interview nun sa BPO is mag-start ka ng morning, matatapos ka ng madaling araw. So, yes, kakaintay ko sa pinsan ko. Nag-decide ako mag-answer ng form nila, tas magpa-intay.
Nag-apply ka rin?
Yes. And then, fortunately, natanggap ako, but yung pinsan ko ang hindi natanggap.
Wow. And then, tumuloy ka na.
And doon na nag-start yung journey ko kasi parang ang laki ng difference noon ng sweldo ng fast food. Back then, it's just like 37.50 per hour. And then, pag apply ko sa BPO, parang bibigyan nila ako ng 13,000 package na yon monthly. Pero ang bahay ko is like 3 hours travel para makapunta ako sa office. So, ganun ako nag-start sa BPO, like 3 hours papunta, 3 hours pabalik. Depende pa yon kapag mayroong bagyo o kaya may ma-traffic. So, nag-stay ako doon for 6 months. And then, nag-open yung other BPO na malapit dito sa area ko. Tapos doon ako nag-stay ng 6 years. Doon din ako na-promote. Yes, as supervisor. And then, nagkaroon ng mga personal issue and then nag-apply sa ibang company. Then doon ako na-promote as operations manager. Kakahabol ko ng account na gusto ko, like telecommunication account. So that's why nagpalipat ako ng BPO company. Fortunately, sa lahat naman ng BPO company na napupuntahan ko is nagkakaroon naman ako ng opportunity para mag-upskill and also mag-promote. So, yun. Doon ako nag-start.
I love that for you. One of the things na nababasa ko lagi sa Reddit communities, especially yung tungkol sa mga VA industry, is that people who come from the BPO industry, they have a strong foundation. Like, mas prepared sila kumbaga pumasok sa VA industry. Do you agree with that? Do you think that's true?
Yes, kasi they are somewhat trained on how to deal dun sa mga complex na issue, also dealing with clients, dealing with customer, resolving issues, also software navigation. Kumbaga mas madali na kasing mag-adapt yung mga na-train sa BPO industry, tapos tatalon sa BA kasi meron na sila talagang knowledge on how the business works. And also yung culture ng iba't ibang bansa, or specifically sa US. Sa BPO kasi tinitrain naman ang mga agents dun sa American culture. So, yun yung parang feeling ko malaking factor. Kaya rin mas madaling mag-jump ang mga galing sa BPO sa BA industry kasi alam na nila yung cultural differences. And also how they work. So they know how to approach, how to position yung mga sasabihin nila. Kaya nagkakaroon din talaga ng pagkakasundo sa client and BA.
Sige. So let's talk a bit about the differences naman. Paano mo mag-differentiate? Okay, ito yung BPO industry. Paano siya naiiba or similar sa VA industry? And we're trying also to explain this to our listeners na hindi nag-work sa BPO, hindi nag-work sa VA industry. So how would you differentiate the two para sa mga nakikinig?
Sa BPO industry kasi, you are controlled. Like, this is your task. You need to follow your supervisor, and nakadepende talaga doon kung paano magiging takbo ng campaign or magiging takbo ng company yung growth na. Aside from that, yung pagod at saka yung hirap dun sa BPO kasi sobrang parang naka-checklist kapag nasa BPO ka, you need to follow strict rules. Unlike
wait lang, so sorry to interrupt. Like, ilarawan natin. It's like an in-person office ba? Yung tipong mag-clock in, like, pasok ka, naka-uniform ka, tapos you have your cubicle, may computer ka doon. Okay, tapos marami kayo, isang hilera, ganyan.
Correct. Tapos meron kang dress code, and then yung travel time. Kumbaga, yung preparation mo kasi haharap ka sa tao every day. Like, alis ka ng bahay. Kumbaga, ang pasok mo is 8:00, pero kailangan mong gumising ng mga 4:00 pa lang para i-prepare yung kailangan mo. Tapos, babiyahe ka. So, minsan sa biyahe pa lang, pagod ka na. And then, you need to make sure na pag log-in mo, ibang tao ka na because you will deal with different clients and different customer. Tapos yung iba't ibang customer, meron din silang iba't ibang emotions. Sometimes they are happy, sometimes they are sad, they are frustrated. And then, kailangan mong, like parang wala pang 1 minute pag-receive mo ng call, kailangan iba na ulit yung pagkatao mo. Pag na-receive mong frustrated, kailangan maging pasensyoso ka. So, ganun kabilis yung switching. Kaya medyo exhausting talaga in terms of, hindi naman sa lahat ng BPO, depende sa campaign. But most of the time, ang BPO kasi is nagre-receive talaga ng call, customer service. So, kung ahente ka sa BPO, talagang kailangan mag-switch ka ng persona from time to time para lang ma-assist mo and ma-satisfy mo si customer. Like, ang dami mong sinasatisfy na customer araw-araw. Like every call, if you're receiving 100 calls, kailangan yung 100 calls na yon satisfied si customer, resolve ang issue within a limited time frame.
May training naman siguro yan, no? Like,
meron naman. But you cannot really get everything out of training kasi. Kailangan talaga parang ma-expose ka on how to handle calls, how to resolve the issue bago mo matutunan talaga yung product or handling nung campaign mo. Hindi siya lahat makukuha mo dahil nakaupo ka sa training and then you're good to go. Talagang meron na hindi mo matututunan talaga sa training or sa curriculum ng training program.
How did it feel like for you when you went from your job sa fast food, tapos biglang pumasok ka, tapos na-onboard ka? Na-shock ka din ba konti? Like, hala, ganito pala to sa loob ng BPO?
Yes, parang nung una, during the training period for 1 month, parang, okay, parang nag-aaral lang ako, ganyan. Tapos, after the training, parang feeling mo equipped ka na. And then my first call is an irate customer. So, na-overwhelm talaga ako. Kasi hindi naman isa-isa, may isa kang supervisor, meron kang katabi. So, hinubad ko talaga yung headset ko. Tumakbo ako sa supervisor ko and umiiyak ako kasi talagang pinagmumura ko wala pa akong sinasabi, talagang galit na yung customer sa akin. So, yun yung unang experience ko. So, para ayoko nang bumalik ulit sa pagte-take ng calls. Tapos, di pa natin yun language. Hindi ko alam kung paano ko sila ipapacify. So, medyo mahirap yung naging adjustment. It's just choosing kung anong gusto mong klase ng pagod kung yung physical na pagod ba o yung mental na pagod but you are compensated well. So, ganun siya yung BPO.
Yeah, definitely adaptability and like resilience din kasi tumagal ka ng 6 years now. So how did your career, you mentioned something about the pandemic, nag-lay off ba yung BPO company that you worked for because of the pandemic, or did you just choose to resign and pursue work as a freelancer? Paano yun nangyari, yung transition?
I got pregnant kasi during the pandemic, and that time we naka-work from home naman.
Okay.
Si company. Pero kasi pag naka-work from home ka sa BPO, mas challenging, mas mahirap mong makontrol yung mga tao mo. So, but ayun, nagdire-diretso pa rin naman. Pero nung pinababalik nila kasi ako on-site, wala pang 6 months yung anak ko.
Okay. Didn't want to leave. Oo.
So, tapos, breastfeeding mama ko. So, hindi ko talaga siya maiwanan. Hindi ko siya maturuan na dumedi agad sa bote ng transition. Kasi the announcement was so quick. Like, parang hindi man lang sinat na, next month, magbalik na kayo. So, hindi ko na-train yung baby ko. And then, natakot ako at that time. Though, nagpa-part-time DA na ako noon as cold caller. Pero, sobrang takot talaga ako kasi yun ang bread and butter ko. Hindi ko alam kung paano ko kikita and ganyan. Tapos, kinausap ko yung senior ko dun sa pag-BBA. And then, I am asking her, mabibigyan ba ako ng additional client or additional hours? Because right now, I'm only having like 4 hours. So,
for our listeners, okay lang ba? Medyo pause tayo. I just want to backtrack konti. Paano ka pumasok sa VA industry? Kasi, di ba, for us in Philippine culture, lalo nung hindi pa masyadong uso yung pag-work bilang freelancer in VA, na parang if you're not in an in-office job, hindi legit yung trabaho mo. Yung parang, ang hirap paniwalaan na pwede kang kumita ng pera by working online. Kahit hindi mo nakikita, di mo nahahawakan yung client mo, biglang may papasok na pera sa account mo. Uy, totoo to. Hindi to scam. Ganyan. So, how did you find your first VA job or your first freelancing work? Nag-Google ka lang ba?
Naririnig-rinig ko siya, actually, kasi nauna sa akin yung kapatid kong mag-VA. Pero back then, super hirap talaga maghanap ng legit na, kasi wala pa naman mga platform noon na madami. So, naghanap ako ng mga, parang nag-Google ako ng mga legit na platform. Nauna ako sa pagtuturo sa mga Chinese students. Tapos there are modules. Tapos nung nakatanggap na ako ng unang sweldo ko, okay, legit pala talaga siya. So, ganon. Kaya lang nga, hindi ako komportable na parang hindi ko talaga gustong mag-resign sa corporate. Dahil wala akong assurance. Hindi nila ako binigyan ng contract and such. Basta magturo ka lang, okay ka na. So, yun yung una kong BA or kumbaga freelancing experience. Tapos, yung kapatid ko, she has her own client from Jean. Sorry to mention the name. From Jean. So,
by the way, Jean is on episode 1. So if you want to know who he is, check out their interview.
Yeah, so si Jean yung naging unang client nung kapatid ko. So kumbaga, merong, ano bang tawag dito? Parang merong security kasi merong gitnang tao eh. Tapos doon ako nangulit sa kanila na baka meron din akong client na pwedeng pasukan dyan. Though meron akong full-time, pero ang dami ko kasi extra time dahil yung bahay ko noon from my office is just like 5 to 10 minutes walk. So naghahanap talaga ako ng part-time na mapag-uubusan ng oras ko. Tapos yun, na-introduce sa akin si Jean, and then with the help of Virginia, is business partner. Doon, nabigyan niya ako ng part-time calling. Doon ako nag-start ng cold caller. Pero mahirap yun. Kasi, syempre, from PPO, may difference din naman, especially if you are operations manager, tapos biglang magko-calls ka ulit.
Oh, I want to unpack that. Oh my gosh, you raised like a really important point. So, sa reality talaga ng mga VA, sometimes it's such an unknown world, especially if hindi mo kilala mga clients, you don't know if legit yung job posting, katulad sa sinabi mo, malalaman mo lang legit if may pumasok ng pera sa account mo. Walang contract, walang onboarding. So it's very relatable, the fact na magtanong ka sa kakilala mo kung may alam silang work na pwedeng ipasa sa'yo. That's actually how I got into SEO writing as well. May kakilala ko na may client siya, hindi niya matapos lahat ng work, pinasa niya sa akin. Tapos ginawa ko, like, may nasend na pera sa akin, like, okay, legit to. But it always starts with someone you know usually, for that trust, di ba? So as you were saying, you went from operations manager back to cold caller ulit. Na kahit may experience ka doon, it was still different. How so?
Yeah, sobrang different kasi kapag again, sa BPO, di ba meron training?
Yeah.
Kapag nag-BA ka, kailangan talaga meron kang kusa na pag-aaralan mo lahat kasi bibigyan ka nila ng script, ito yung goal mo, ito yung gagawin mo. Tapos noon, parang wala kang marireceive na coaching masyado, wala kang feedback. Buti na lang ako noon, meron akong kakilala na nangingi ako ng feedback, ganito ba yung dapat kong gawin? Pag wala akong makita result, tinatanong ko sa kanya, ano bang ibang dapat kong gawin? So, kaya, yun yung isa pang fear ko noon. Kasi, wala naman akong alam sa freelancing.
Okay.
Tapos, biglang mag-jump ako. Kaya lang, malakas ang loob ko noon dahil nga, meron akong, kumbagang, security, meron akong tao sa gitna eh. Pero, that time, if you are going to ask me kung wala akong anak noon and then pandemic, hindi ko talaga bibitawan ang corporate. Kumbaga, nitong mga past few years ko na lang napatunayan na, okay, freelancing will work for me.
It's a very scary leap to take. Even sa younger generations where mas uso yung digital nomad lifestyle, ganyan nakikita mo siya sa TikTok, na nakikita mo sa social media, it's very scary to take the leap. Yung, especially, like, if you have parents that are asking you, anong ginagawa mo sa computer? Legit na trabaho ba yan? Diba? So, but now, what made you, so tell me more about your work. So from the cold calling, how did you end up in the position you have now, which is operations manager on it?
Yeah, parang nag-start na ako magka-postpartum noon because I'm really scared to like lose a job. And then Virginia told me, I got you. Sabi niya, you can resign, can give you, Vin and I can give you a full-time work. So, I trust the word. And also value the trust of Virginia. So, I work and then I studied yung mga kung ano bang dapat kong malaman as cold caller, and then hanggang sa dumami na yung cold caller na pagkatiwalaan na ako ng COO ng company na kaya mo mag-handle since you already have an experience on how to do it sa BPO, ginawa mo na yan for 12 years, kaya mo na mag-handle ng mga tao. So hanggang sa lumaki ng lumaki, and then napatunayan na, okay, kaya niya mag-handle ng iba't ibang campaign, iba't ibang business, ganyan. So hanggang sa lumaki ng lumaki yung company na tinayo, and I was assigned as operations manager ng company na meron kami ngayon.
So the people you're handling, are they online? Are they remote workers? Or are they in person sa isang office? How is the setup like?
May mga naka-remote, pero most of our employees is nasa office. We have 2 offices now. Pero magkalapit lang naman, like parang 10, kasi hindi naman namin na-expect na biglang after a year is ganito na karami yung empleyado. Kaya,
may growth.
Oo, kaya kumuha ng isa pang naka-hybrid setup na ako ngayon. Kumuha na pa ng isa pang office.
So yun, like when people kasi think of the word VA, they think of people working remotely. Pero you mentioned office. Just for our listeners who aren't familiar, parang bakit naka-office setup kayo? Can you tell them more about like VA agency, basically yung work where you're at, right? Diba? It's still the VA industry, but it's also an agency. So parang siyang hybrid ng BPO versus total remote work.
Yes. Kasi our company's goal is to like parang palakihin yung BA industry here in the Philippines. And mostly ng mga hinahire namin is wala naman talagang experience pa sa BA. So that's the reason why we need to have them sa office so that they are guided with a manager, supervisor na skilled and trained to be a freelancer or to be a VA para mamomonitor yung task. At the same time, may make sure namin na nakakapag-deliver sila sa client. Kumbaga yung monitoring kasi mas intense kapag nasa office. Kaya nasa office sila. But eventually, kapag kaya na nilang kumbaga kumawala or kaya na nilang mag-isa, they are trained and mapagkakatiwalaan na namin sila. They can also have the hybrid setup. So, ganun yung movement. Pero the reason why they are working sa office talaga is to make sure that they are trained and also they are able to like deliver and get all the support that they need while they are in, parang habang nag-i-start sila sa industry.
Which is very important, by the way, getting that support and training and supervision, especially if you're a fresh graduate or someone na katulad sa'yo dati na galing sa fast food, like completely different industry, tas gustong pumasok sa ganitong industry, di ba? Parang a lot of people under that, they're like, paano makapasok sa VA industry? Help, I feel so lost. I don't know what to do. Di ko alam kung kanina ako hihingi ng advice kasi it's just you and your laptop, right? At least sa agency, you have supervisors, you have managers, you have peers, di ba?
And yun nga, good thing is the senior management kasi sa Archers, parang nag-start sila ng ganon. Like parang mag-isa silang nabuhay kasi nga kumbaga alam na namin yung nagiging problema ng mga BA na talagang nasa bahay lang, walang mahinga ng support, walang mapagturuan. Kaya talagang sinikap na meron talagang office para makuha mo kung ano yung kailangan mo, ma-acquire mo yung skills na kailangan mo talaga and you get the answer instantly from a real person and can guide you right away.
So the word virtual assistant or VA is so broad. Like it could mean a lot of things. Pero para sa'yo, what does being a VA mean? Ano when you say VA, anong pumapasok sa isipan mo?
Kapag sinabi kasing VA for me kailangan you are skilled and resourceful person. It's not because parang meron kang pinag-aralan, okay ka na ng ganito. So, kumbaga kailangan talaga flexible. You are willing to learn. Yun yung BA. Basta pag mag-BA ka, you have to make sure that you are flexible and willing to learn. You are also willing to unlearn.
Kasi, okay, the unlearning. Yeah, it's important.
Yes. Super mahirap yun, especially sa mga may experience nga. Parang thinking nila, okay na ako, ganito. But if you are not willing to learn more, hindi ka magtatagal sa VA industry. O kaya parang gusto mo, cold caller na lang ako. Parang mauubusan ka ng, kailangan mong i-upgrade yung sarili mo kasi para ma-make sure mo magtatagal ka sa industry. Yung pag-BA kasi medyo, ang bilis niyang mag-evolve. Parang
kaya nga nahihirapan tayo define ko ano yun kasi nag-involve siya ng sobrang bilis.
Parang noon kailangan ko lang is marunong akong mag-calls. Tapos ngayon kailangan ko nang matuto na mag bookkeeping. So ganun siya, kaya kailangan talaga you are the most flexible person kapag mag-VA ka.
Actually, also from the word VA, like virtual, so you also have to be tech savvy. Dapat hindi ka takot matuto ng bagong apps and softwares and magkalikot siya ng, ito may bagong website, try natin ito. Tsaka also from the word assistant, may maganda kang sinabi na it's just not on record, pero in our previous conversation na parang jack of all trades, ang daming kayang gawin. Kasi pag assistant, ang dami ding binabato sa'yo na task, diba? So,
correct. Talagang kailangan multi-skilled ka. And then, number one is talagang dapat resourceful ka kasi wala ka nga talagang ibang maaasahan. Or unlike with the company that we have right now, meron kang maaasahan na kailangan ng client ko ng ganito, may mapagtatanungan ka. But if you want to be like a freelancer na gusto mong mag-isa ka lang, kailangan mo talagang matutong mag-research, mag-take risk of paying a training, mga online training para lang matuto ka ng skill na kailangan mo. Kasi minsan sa pag-apply din ng BA, lakasan na lang ng loob kasi you have the job description and meron dun iba, parang di mo naman talaga alam. But you know na most of it, kaya mo naman. So kapag alam mo kung sa sarili mo na resourceful ka naman, multi-skilled ka naman, and you are willing to learn new processes and you are willing to acquire more knowledge and skills, then go, you can apply. Parang ganon. Pwede ka maging freelancer.
For our listeners na hindi familiar sa difference ng VA agency, working for VA agency and working as a freelancer, pa-explain lang ko ano yung advantage of working for an agency para lang mag-gets nila.
Yung pag nag-work ka kasi sa agency is, you are secured. You have contract, and then we also follow the DOLE rule or yung law ng Philippines. Kumbaga secured ka talaga na mababayaran ka, meron kang benefits, tapos mas sure mo na meron kang client or wala kang client, meron or wala kang client, meron kang makukuhang sweldo or meron kang assurance na meron kang trabaho. Because the agency is the one who will be responsible to find a client for you.
Yes,
tapos, nakaroon din ng matching. Napaprofile ka din. Depende kung anong skills mo ngayon, doon ka nila ilalagay. That's how it works sa agency namin ngayon. Kumbaga, actually, mas madali kesa mag-freelance BA ka. Sa freelance BA kasi para kang mag-hit or miss. Depende na lang kung sobrang skilled mo na or kumbaga sobrang sanay ka nang maghanap ng client sa mga platform na sigurado kang hindi ka mai-scam. Kasi minsan, even sa trusted platform, we have different software or kumbaga different app para maghanap ka ng mga client. Hindi pa rin sure. Ako, personal experience, nag-try ako mag-apply doon sa isang platform. And then they asked me to review these documents. Tapos pagkatapos, sinendan nila ako ng papel. I thought it was my contract or proposal. And they are asking me to pay them deposit.
Nako. Ikaw pa yung magbabayad.
Ako pa yung magbabayad na to make sure lang natatrabahuhin ko yung mga nila. Kumbaga, tapos meron din naman, parang yung sister-in-law ko, tinuruan kong mag-apply. So nag-apply siya, nag-work siya for like 2 weeks. And then hindi na siya na-replyan ng client pagkatapos niyang masubmit yung So yun yung hirap, kumbaga yung risk ng being like freelancer lang talaga.
Yes. You have to look for your own clients. It's kind of like being a freelance makeup artist na parang skills mo yung puhunan mo. You have to go out there and find people willing to avail of your services. Tapos you're not sure how long they'll stay. Umaasa ka din sa referrals. Pwede ka magkaroon ng maraming clients, pero pwede rin sabay-sabay sila mawawala, right? So that's the downside to that. So
Yes.
Sabihin mo, as a VA, when you tell people na this is the industry you work in, may na-encounter ka bang negative connotations or the people around you, paano yung usual reactions nila? Alam ba nila kung ano to? Naintindihan ba nila yung work mo?
Actually, madaming misconception and also parang madami silang question about paano ka kumikita, especially kapag parang feeling kasi nila kapag nasa bahay ka lang, wala ka talagang ginagawa. Or parang ang dali-dali naman ng trabaho mo. Ganon. And sometimes maisip nila na parang madali mag-apply or madaling maging VA. Pero pag na-try na nilang mag-apply, ay mahirap palang makakuha ng client. parang ganon. So, minsan tinitingnan din nila parang hindi talaga totoong trabaho yung tinatrabaho mo or parang kala nila naman minsan sobrang laki din ang kinikita mo sa pag-BBA na parang ganun lang, parang napupulot mo lang yung pera. Pero ang mahirap doon is yung na-judge ka nila na parang hindi ka pagod kapag nag-BBA ka. Kasi nga, nasa bahay, kala nila gigising lang, tapos magla-login ka na, okay ka na. Pero meron din kasing preparation. Siguro depende sa klase ng tao. Pero when it's the same like you are working sa office din. You also prepare yourself before you log in. You also have your struggle. Kasi parang akala ng iba, hindi ka na nagkakaroon ng mga mental breakdown. Kasi actually, mas madalas. Kasi kung naka-work from home ka, medyo wala kang yung frustration mo minsan, wala kang napagsasabihan. Kumbaga, and then after you log out, ibang trabaho naman yung tatrabahuin mo, like trabaho mo sa bahay, responsibilities mo. Kumbaga, ang bilis ng switch. At saka, you really need to be focused kasi pag nasa bahay ka, madaming distraction.
That is very, very true. Tsaka, speaking of pagod, grabe the time difference, it's like 4:46 a.m. Pero sa ating hapon to, katatapos lang ng araw natin. Ay, nako.
Discipline,
Yes.
talaga, very important yun, especially dun sa mga nag-freelancing na walang agency, na walang assurance kung bukas meron ka pang trabaho. Because we have to admit it, kumbaga mas malaki yung kita ng mga VA. Pero sometimes, dahil malaki yung kita mo, malaki din yung expenses mo. Tapos, we parang nagiging kampante na merong papasok na pera every 2 weeks, ganyan-ganyan.
Yes.
So,
That is true.
yun yung mahirap din sa freelancing. Kumbaga nakapag-set ka na ng ganitong klase ng lifestyle, tapos biglang mawawala si client. Tapos ang hirap na maghanap ng client ngayon ulit. Kaya yun din yung kagandahan na meron kang agency.
Given the pros and cons na experience mo about working in the VA industry, is it something na ma-recommend mo sa anak mo someday paglaki niya? For example, would you encourage them to get a corporate job? I-encourage mo ba siya pumasok din sa VA industry?
Actually, whatever will work for him or kung ano yung choice niya. But right now, since yung VA industry talaga yung parang pinakamabilis lumaki ngayon. And definitely, magkakaroon din yun ng, kumbaga, magkakaroon na rin siya ng posisyon na parang totoong office. I would suggest for less hassle sa anak ko, mas gusto ko na lang din siguro na mag-BA siya as starter. Pero if eventually he wants to be in corporate, I experience also corporate. That's where I grow as well. So, he can also do corporate.
It's nice. At least magkakaroon din siya ng guidance mula sa'yo na as someone who's experienced these things firsthand. No?
Yes, pero as a mother, syempre ako mas gusto ko na mag-VA siya kasi mas, kumbaga, yung hassle ng trabaho. Tapos, same, almost the same din naman yung mga skills and knowledge na matututunan mo. Actually, mas marami pa nga because you get to deal with a lot of business owners with a lot of knowledge.
Yes, that's true. And like the foreign clients talaga, no? Like just the different cultures, the different people,
yes,
accents.
Yes, and they will offer you trainings. They will actually pay for your trainings for you to acquire this skills and knowledge so that matulungan mo sila sa business. Kumbaga mas malaki yung opportunity niya to learn and grow kasi nga automatic na yun. Kumbaga you were getting the knowledge direct from the source. So ganon, parang kahit mag-BA naman siya as start or mag-umpisa siya, pag pinakawalan mo siya sa corporate, mas knowledgeable siya.
I agree. Do you think there are problems or challenges sa industry right now na kailangan ma-address from the top of your head?
Yun, yung job security, parang since we already have platform na nag-provide, kumbaga ang pinaka-challenge doon is yung ma-filter yung mga employer na kung okay ba to, talaga bang legitimate to na hindi malulugi yung mga tao or hindi sila mai-scam. Yun yung pinakamalaking problema ng industry. And also, sa mismong VA employees.
Yes.
Like, ang pinakamalaking problema is parang yung thinking nila na madaling mag-switch from one client or madaling mag-jump. So, hindi nila sometimes merong mga hindi nakaka-realize na hindi porket parang unlimited yung option mo is talon ka na lang ng talon. So, hindi ka mag-grow doon.
Totoo.
Puro ka lang intro, puro umpisa lang natututunan mo. Kumbaga, but the advanced knowledge is hindi mo na makukuha yon. Yes, dire-diretso yung sweldo, pero the knowledge kung ano talaga yung pagiging VA or ano talaga yung pagiging assistant or kung paano ka mag-grow, hindi mo siya makukuha sa ganun.
I agree with you so much dun sa puro ka intro. There are some things malalaman mo lang through depth, right? And like through staying. Also the uncomfortable conversations, the questions you have to ask, yung pag-negotiate, yung pagkakilala mo kay client, tsaka pagpapakilala rin ng ito working style mo, ito communication style mo. Like, it is really something that's earned and it creates this good working relationship.
Yes, kasi madami ngayon parang, hindi ko makasundo si client ko, ayoko na siyang kausap, okay, bye. na, ganun na lang. So, kaya, at the same time, syempre, nakakaubos din, hindi naman lahat ng business owners merong, kumbaga, parang pasensya para maghanap, mag-hire, mag-ganyan-ganyan. So eventually, kung ganun yung madedevelop na culture ng mga VA, mawawala na rin ng trust na, oh, okay, this country, hindi masyadong reliable yung mga ano nito. So if we really want to like build a VA industry here in the Philippines, we also need to prove kung anong klaseng employee tayo.
Oh, bit-bit natin bandera ng Pilipinas eh. Like, this is the client's impression of Filipino workers, diba?
Yes.
Sige. So, last question. What does a successful VA look like to you? Paano mo masasabi success ka sa VA? Like, sumakses ka. So, everyone has their own metrics for that. But what's yours?
Sa akin, yung success is yung mas madali mo ng na ma-manage yung stress mo, and also nakukuha mo na yung time mo kasi you now know how to delegate. O kumbaga nag-advance ka na sa level mo, and this is now your time to train other person to be a VA because you know what are the benefits.
Okay.
If okay silang VA. Kumbaga, kapag nakakapag-transfer ka na ng knowledge, ay nakakapag-create ka na siguro sa perspective ko lang to, no? Kasi nasa leadership position na tayo. Pero sa akin yun yung success yung kapag nakakapag-produce ka na ng isa pang reliable VA. Successful ka na nun. Kasi it only means that you also have the time, the luxury of time to train. So, kumbaga, hawak mo na yung oras mo. Kapag nakarating ka na sa level na gano'n ng BA, nakukuha mo na yung time mo ulit, meron ka ng work-life balance, then you are successful.
That was a really great answer. And also a great note to end this episode on. So, thank you so much for your wisdom, your insight, and yung mga kwento na nabahagi mo. I hope it will inspire anyone listening to this podcast to take the leap to enter the VA industry, and also to know that they don't have to be completely lost when entering their agencies, their mentors, or people willing to train. And so, Ayan, thank you so much for your time, June. It was wonderful interviewing you.
The Think Small podcast presents The Offshore Diaries, where business growth has no borders.